Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
Albeit it is expected the United States Supreme Court will soon decide if states have the legal authority to protect children from medical procedures that are meant to sterilize and maim. Hawaii's legislature does not want to wait for the court's ruling and has rather advanced Senate Bill 1150 that, if passed, will allow those under 19 years of age to transition to another sex without parental consent. What most Democrats say in public, that they are for protecting parental rights, is not true. And here is the proof.
The effort in states like California to bypass parents' judgment and subject their children to transgender procedures against the parents' judgment, or even to hide this from the parents. That's going on in California right now.
And Hawaii's Democrats, it appears together with Governor Josh Green, want Hawaii to be like California and erase parental consent.
Right now. So I want to be sure I understood the subcommittee's ranking member correctly. It sounded like she too opposes government replacing parents' judgment over the decision on transgender procedures for their children. Am I correct on that? It sounded like you oppose government replacing parents' judgment over the decision of transgender procedures on their children. Am I correct on that?
What I said was that parents have the ultimate right to make the decisions concerning appropriate medical care for their children.
I think we're in agreement. We can take that off the table. Both parties oppose the government, any government, making decisions over whether a child will be subjected to transgender procedures contrary to the wishes of the parents. Do I understand that correctly?
I believe that's generally the legal standard.
Okay,
yes.
that's great. Then
The dispute is over what is appropriate, apparently.
If both parties support a law that forbids performing these transgender procedures on a minor without the full and informed consent of the parents, then, Mr. Chairman, I believe we should advance such a bill right away. I think that would address the fears that I hear from a lot of parents that their desire to protect their child is at risk from various state governments like California who are trying to usurp that decision. We have complete agreement on that.
The vast majority of Hawaii's Democrats do not want to keep men out of girls' sports, do not want to protect private spaces for women, and don't value what parents want for their children when it comes to mental health.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way, that's good, but I understand Maine, is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Down here,
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively, and we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. So just to end, this administration has been fighting for parents' rights.
Bob McDermott continues to fight against the erosion of parental rights for Hawaii's families and should be back at the legislature to lend his voice for us that stands to strengthen the protection of children from government overreach